Oh God, probably not.
No, it's too late now. Hi everyone. Welcome to BeerThralls presents Beer Protocol. I'm James.
Hi, James.
I'm drinking whiskey and Coke. Whiskey and coffee.
I was gonna say weak mixing your drink.
Thus
He mixes his drink every week.
I need the coffee part of that whiskey. It's been a long
This
day.
is Jake. I have a little bit of Isaiah Bowman, and I'm gonna drink it with just straight.
Okay.
Because you're a real man. And speaking of not real men, I'm drinking an Arizona Sunrise Hard Seltzer, and I do not recommend it.
I would say it looks like you're drinking a White Claw. Anyway, tink.
Clink.
Clink. James, last time we talked about your list in preparation for a tournament. James, did you go to said tournament?
Watch it.
Yeah, how did it go?
Watching.
You got first, right?
Yeah, I got close to first.
How far from first? How close were you, James?
I was like 7 of no, I was
7 of
8.
10. Yeah.
I was 7 of 10.
7 of 6.
I was 7 of 10.
He actually got kicked out of the tournament.
I was 7 of 10. I did not win. I did not win any of my games.
You won in spirit, though.
So let's talk about practicing your
protocol.
list and not having to work 2 12-hour days back to back when you weren't supposed to be working.
So we're going to do kind of a...
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was saying waking up at 2 a.m. to paint your models.
And then waking up at 2 a.m. to 2:30 to paint a Mega Red, which came out amazing. No talking. So
hi, kitty.
To be fair, we couldn't hear that until you draw attention to it. So.
I know. But anyway.
So today we're going to try to go over kind of a quick summary, not quite a full battle report because we were unfortunately unable to attend the tournament due to some other conflicts. So we were going off of just James's memory of what the boards look like.
Yeah.
Round 1, James, your opponent played Web Warriors, right?
So I updated my list. This is my updated list over here. As you can see, I took out Mordo because he was not painted nor primed, and I was like, I'm not bringing unpainted models because I'm an idiot like that.
We've already established you're more about style and mood than necessarily tactics.
Yes. First round, Web Warriors on a very crowded table.
So not crowded per se. So I think there's a side conversation we can have about thematic versus functional tables. I lied. I was here. Sometimes I was here for the first round board. So I saw it myself. So it was a city intersection with buildings on the corners. So essentially you had streets going as a big cross, and each of the corner zones was heavily populated with wall-to-wall connecting large buildings.
And there were like cars and trucks in the streets and stuff.
Yeah,
it was it's a beautifully painted they call it Bleecker Street. It's gorgeous.
Deployment. The problem started at deployment and didn't really let up for Criminal Syndicate.
So
on deployment, as a quick reminder, you get the 3-inch stick, but according to the rules of the game, to be on terrain, you have to have your base fully supported by the terrain. Otherwise, you're not allowed to stay there.
The footprint of the terrain. So if the terrain kind of like leans in a little bit and stuff, you can kind of like lean over a little bit because the footprint of the building goes to the base.
I've typically played if the model is fully supported with no wobble. Basically, if there's no risk someone's model is going to fall over, it's legal. You could not deploy your models.
I could not deploy my models
base sizes and overlapping terrain pieces.
Yeah, I couldn't deploy my models at the edge of the three link stick because there was a gap about this big between one building and another building, and I could not place my model completely on the building forward, so I had to place it back a little bit. Which wasn't horrible, but the problem was most of my guys don't have web crawler. They're slow movements, a wall crawler. They don't.
Well, if they're slow movement, they don't care because that's already their movement.
But so a lot of my guys were like packed in the middle. And I knew I was going to have a very hard start on this because it's Web Warriors. They don't care about anything.
Web Warriors and Juggernaut, who also doesn't care.
Right. So I ended up bringing Kingpin, Black Cat, Mysterio, Carnage, and Kraven on this one. So I don't even remember what the missions were. I know I was not able. I lost the roll. I wasn't able to pick my secures. I ended up grabbing.
Hammers.
It was hammers. Yeah, I grabbed hammers. On the extracts. So things I learned from that game: web warriors are fast and they're friggin' annoying. He had Moon Knight, Juggernaut, Miles, Gwen, and
Black Cat, probably.
Black Cat. Black Cat and my Black Cat basically
Had a cat fight?
yeah, kept trading how do you beat Black Cat? Don't
With
smack
Black
her.
Cat?
Don't smack her for like 3 damage, giving her 3 power, and then not walk away while holding a hammer. Because the first thing you do is go, well, thank you for the power, and grab the hammer from the person.
Yeah.
But so it was a lot of trading off between Black Cat and Black Cat, trading the objective back and forth.
So if you're gonna go into a Black Cat slap fight, you probably want to focus fire and make sure she doesn't get
Focus fire.
activations.
We'll talk about that round 2, or for game 2. Other things I learned: Juggernaut, everyone's first move with Juggernaut is move, gain 2 powers, push them, clearing terrain, and then the third one's either another move and attack. Every single game I've seen Juggernaut, that was the first thing that they did was I move Juggernaut, gain 2 power, push them, do something else, which is usually by that time the middle of the board and smacking somebody. My opponent was terrified of Carnage. So he deliberately drove him to the side away from Carnage towards one of the I believe one of the hammers or one of the objectives. And that's where he kind of sat the entire game, was just over on that side. Let's see what other things that happened. All webbed up is just devastating. He
Now,
ended up.
what I'll point out, your opponent played all webbed up with Miles' leadership ability, not Amazing Spider-Man. So it
Correct.
was a concentrated dome of getting hit. So essentially, he got to choose a flank, which, if I remember you saying, he used Moon Knight to do.
Yep.
Since strength of Moon Knight doesn't have a normal power outlet, but is very good at generating power.
Yep.
So Moon Knight is the go-to option for both Midnight Suns and Web Warriors for playing tactic cards.
He lucked out and got a really good combo. The first one he got from Moon Knight was I get a free move. The second one he got from Moon Knight was I get a free power. And then the third one he got from Moon Knight was I get a free move, which was able to have him run up and just spend the card to do all webbed up on Craven and Carnage, which then Gwen just walked in and was just throwing 10 dice.
Yeah. So again, so you're referring you're referring to his personality role on
Yes.
Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
bullshit.
Things I learned from that game, no matter how far you believe you are behind, you're not. I started that game really, really far behind. I did still lose on points, but I was behind like 6 points at one point during the game, and then once Carnage and Craven were able to get in position, it just became like a domino effect of getting points, jumping in places, getting characters killed, grabbing their hammers. I was able to come back, but I wasn't able to come back fast enough, and it literally turned into me just looking at my opponent going, if you move Juggernaut, you lose. If you leave Juggernaut sitting on that point, you just win by 1 point. So he was like, I don't move Juggernaut, I win.
So some of your takeaways with Criminal Syndicate, how did you overcome? So your biggest disadvantages were positioning on the board, interacting with terrain.
Deployment, actually. I need to do a bunch of turn ones.
Yes, with any skirmish game, heavily recommend your practice rotation is turn 1 unpacking. Get comfortable with making a quick from deployment of putting models on the table to playing through the end of round 1. Get comfortable making decisions on where to send people, how to evaluate the board state for where you need to set people up, and then executing.
Yeah. Oh, let me also say this. Out of the 3 games I played, I did not have this game sucks, I hate everyone. Like, every single game was still really, really good to play. I was very happy with my opponents. I was very happy with the games. This is the only real game that I was starting to get a little tweaked on, and that was just because the terrain was definitely not my favor. Which, by the way, afterwards I realized if you look at, and we did this for like War Machine 2, we said this. If you look at the rules, it says pick a side. It doesn't say it's this side and this side. It literally can be these sides also. So you can literally turn the board, since it's a square, 90 degrees. And now you're playing on the side. And if I had done that, I would have had a better deployment the way the buildings were set up.
Really?
Uh-huh. And
I saw that board, and it was literally like I described it. It had the 4 corners were full of terrain.
I would have been able to still move. I would still have been able to put the 3 down and have my character on a building top at the far edge. I wouldn't have been set back a base size.
We really should check that rule, because I could have swore it was you only had to be able to set your base on it. There wasn't a rule saying you had to be completely on.
So,
because in general, Crisis Protocol does not use completely within or completely on its rules. It's just within.
So we also had a question, and it came up beginning of the tournament. It was ruled one way, but then we got an actual official ruling halfway through.
Actually, can I ask we pin that to the end?
Sure, we'll pin that to the end.
Because that's going to be a whole other discussion, I think.
So game 2, I was playing against Magneto and Brotherhood. Cool. So it was Magneto, Toad, Juggernaut, Quicksilver, and Lizard, of all things.
That doesn't surprise me. Lizard is incredibly good.
Lizard's incredibly good.
3-threat.
This is where my brain fell asleep. So, turn 1, he moved, I think it was he moved Toad up, grabbed one of the objectives. I then I take Black Cat, I move her to the middle of the board, because it was Deadly Virus, and he had already grabbed one. I was going to have Black Cat run up, grab one of the other ones, jump over, grab the last one, come back, and try to get all 3 to get the points. That was in my mind. This is a great idea. My opponent looked at me and said, "Are you sure?"
Usually a good sign.
That should be a sign of I'm doing something wrong. I should figure out what I'm doing wrong. But my brain was shutting down, and I was actually thinking about a little bit like work, what I need to do at work and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, okay. And then the back of my brain started screaming at me like, "You're an idiot." And I'm like, why am I an idiot, brain? Juggernaut moves, Juggernaut pushes, Juggernaut punches Black Cat into oblivion. Literally his second move was move, push, Black Cat falls over. And I was like,
Bad kitty.
I am dumb.
Yeah, okay. Black Cat is a flank piece, almost always for the opening of the game.
Dumb.
Because her main defensive gimmick is no rerolls and stealth, and stealth is almost always useless on the center of the table.
It's so dumb and stupid in the center of the board. It was so dumb. Other things I learned from that: Craven against Quicksilver is the most amazing thing you can possibly do. So Craven was able to get to Quicksilver.
James, you may be explaining. I'm probably interrupting, but is there a specific reason why?
He's explaining.
I'm explaining that right now. Thanks for interrupting, Jake. So Craven was able to get to Quicksilver. Quicksilver has a power that says when he's hit, he just basically runs away. Spends 2 power, runs. Craven got close to him, was going to do some damage, and before I did the damage, I was just like, cool, if you move, you're going to take damage. And by the way, you lose Wall Crawler. He went, oh, okay, and Craven's not going to hit you with the spear. And he goes, I move away? Take a point of damage. Cool. Craven, you're still within range. Craven's going to still hit you with this spear. And I'm going to chase after you because I made a movement before this. So next round, he runs away. Take a point of damage. Because it's until his next turn. So this was his turn. He runs away, does take a point of damage. Craven followed up again, did the same exact thing, forced him to run around terrain, taking multiple points of damage. Also had bleed. He killed himself. He actually ran away, took a point of damage, and fell over dead. I thought that was amazing. I was like, that's a really great plan. Why didn't I think of this before? So I was really smart at this, and then forgot Lizard can throw people as well as terrain.
Yeah.
You
know, but Lizard's one big thing, right, James?
Yeah, Lizard's big thing, and I totally forgot that fucking does it.
I'm proud of you.
Round 2, our big takeaway is that reps are important.
Reps are important. Voodoo was able to. Voodoo was amazing at just rolls. It was just rolls. He camped up on a point. Lizard ran up to him, and next turn, yeah.
Is this your voodoo or your opponent's?
My voodoo, the opponent's lizard. Ran up to him and was just going to eat me the next round. Voodoo. I put my opponent in some bad positions where he had to choose another character before doing Lizard. I activated Voodoo. Voodoo was just like, thank you for your power with Sap. I'm going to beat you into being dazed. And in 2 attacks, just was like, yeah, you're just dazed now, thank you. Then proceeded to kill him next turn, the next round. He did something great, and this is why I lost, because I wasn't thinking about this. Toad picked up one of the hammers. Also, we were running, what objective we were running? Because it was hammers again for me, but it was the one where...
popular.
I think it was actually Mutant Madman, where you stand on a point, and you have to roll against the number of enemies, healthy enemies that are there, and if you roll more hits, wilds, or crits than the enemies, it flips out your control.
Mm-hmm.
That's a number of flip cards.
There's a couple.
If you remember, if there was a specific additional rule.
I think it was Mutant Madmen's because
so
it also
the one with traps.
It was the trap. But the traps never really came up. But the problem is that
the trap should have come
up. The way it worked in distancing and stuff, we were throwing people around and everything. It just didn't happen.
Carry on.
You distracted me. I hate you so much. So Toad picks up a hammer, and then runs to the corner and stands in the corner like the freaking Blair Witch. And I'm like, yeah, he's just got one hammer. And I'm looking at the score, and I'm like, all right. Juggernaut was able to pick him another hammer because
Juggernaut's going to get hammers.
I ended up going, okay, I can get myself another round if Voodoo can be my MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo makes a move, throws Brother Daniel at Juggernaut. Juggernaut drops his hammer. I'm close enough that I can pick it up. I make another move, and Brother Daniel doesn't say you can do it once a round. It's just you can just do it if you have 2 power for possession. Or no, it's the amount of power for the number of points of the character.
Opponent's threat.
So basically hit that. And Toad's sitting there at 2 points, and I'm just like, let's measure that. out by like that much, just that much. And I was just like, all right, you win. There's nothing I can do about this. So another great game. I really did do a lot of dumb moves and being down one model for the entire game at the beginning was terrible. Bullseye, for some reason, did really, really good that game.
Who brought Bullseye? I don't remember him
I
getting
did.
mentioned.
I
Okay.
brought Bullseye. And just because I needed the 2 points, he did really, really good. His hit and run, and then also the, oh, you hit me, but you didn't do a lot of damage, so I'm going to do a point to you and just run away, came in like 3 or 4 times. So that was actually really nice. I was very happy with that game.
So what did you learn?
Don't be dumb and actually drink some caffeine before going into a game.
So, like, in all honesty, though, like to like translate that into somewhat more actionable steps, it sounds like fatigue really hit you hard that round.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you were on not a lot of sleep after 2 very long days. So, reminder: if you're doing conventions or just local hobby shop, take care of yourselves, eat, sleep, rest, be well rested. It's going to help your
Shower.
brain function. Yes, please shower.
Yeah.
But like it sounds like basic stuff, but it's really easy, especially as things are warming up, both with spring and also COVID not being as big of a problem. Tempo is going to increase a lot for a lot of activities. So everyone take care of yourselves. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah. So
Don't be a beer thrall.
hi Nathan. So the last round,
You can explain to us how Ghost Rider touched you.
yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
explain.
tell us about round 3.
All right, so so if you go to the BeerThralls Facebook page, you will see the Guardians of the Galaxy box that one of the players had. It's a beautiful box. It had LEDs, lights. It looks like the lineup from the movie. It's gorgeous. I got to play him round 3. Guardians of the Galaxy has a lot of fragile, but energy wielding just monstrosities, and he brought Ghost Rider. I ended up bringing. This is where the demons downtown came into effect, and also, strangely enough, hammers again. So no, it wasn't hammers for last round, but anyway, yes.
Oh, never mind then. My question is null and void. Carry on.
So, Black Cat. Oh, so this board it had the X Mansion on one side, which took about like maybe like this much space on the board. So it's like a bunch of roofs and stuff you can get on. And then it was a bunch of like destroyed Sentinel pieces, some destroyed cars, some trees about. So it was a pretty good sized board with a fountain in the middle. Which strangely enough, both of us forgot you could throw the fountain. We were just throwing everything else.
I mean, I would have forgotten that too.
It was just weird. It was like we saw the fountain and then just assumed that it was just, I don't know, invisible.
It's all the
It's a
plumbing
water
needs to be-
feature. You can't throw
You
water.
can't throw water. Oh, so dumb.
And that's why you'll never be benders.
So, Black Cat Kingpin. I was thinking about a Mega Red for this one, but I didn't. Oh, I actually won the roll for this, which means I was able to choose to cures.
Congratulations, James.
Both my opponents were like, "You're playing Criminal Syndicate. I don't even need to see what you have. You choose extracts." And I was like,
which is funny because I know Criminal Syndicate has a handful of very, very favored secures, but I keep forgetting what they are for the life of me, and I'm confident we didn't take all of them.
They're right there. So let's see. I brought Craven, Lizard, Kingpin, Black Cat, and Dr. Voodoo and Bullseye. Black Cat gets up on top. So it's because it's one of the objectives was on top of the mansion. I was able to get Black Cat there. She ended up grabbing the hammer, and I calculated the distance perfectly where Gamora couldn't reach her, and Star-Lord couldn't get close enough to shoot her on top of the building. So she basically just grabbed a hammer. Voodoo ran up, sat on top of one of the demon portals because immune to incinerate. And then Craven was going up the side to get one of the other hammers, and we just had to scrum in the middle. It was just this mass of Ghost Rider, Groot, Kingpin, Lizard, all just beating each other up in the middle.
You measured something perfectly.
I
don't believe it.
did for the first time ever.
We're too far gone. We can't go back to that.
Yeah, no.
Still stunned. Sorry.
So let's see. There was a lot of trading and stuff back and forth. Nebula is just an annoying character. She got Craven. Not before Craven did a lot of damage to Star-Lord and stuff, but she was able to, like, oh, you got the objective? Cool, I'm just gonna beat you up now. Oh, you're seeing an objective? I'm gonna beat you up now.
Yeah, that's what she does.
And just a missile out of nowhere. It was just, oh, she can't reach me. Boom, she's right in your face.
I mean, I've been thinking about taking her for Black Order, so.
Yeah, so, things I've learned from this. Ghost Rider has a card that's the most annoying thing on the face of the earth.
Which one? He has two very fun cards.
No, there's just one. So, Black Cat came off the top of the building, ran over to Dr. Voodoo.
Off the turnbuckle!
And went, hey, you don't need that hammer that much. Grabbed the hammer and ran away. So she's holding two hammers. And Voodoo basically had to go up and start dealing with people because I was starting to get flipped and just starting to lose control of the middle. We end up killing Ghost Rider and Groot, or Daze and Groot. So basically, through Ghost Rider into Groot, Groot ends up going dazed. Ghost Rider ends up going dazed. So Ghost Rider
dazed or knocked out.
Dazed. So
this is why Black Cat.
Black Cat comes running back to the bottom portal so she can basically give me 3 points every single round. Opponent goes, I can't have that, and Ghost Rider just books it. Oh, by the way, I also have super stealth, so no one can hit her. Ghost Rider just books it across the table, stands next to Black Cat. Black Cat just goes, well, this is where I die, and then tanks
clarification. Super stealth means
Shadow
Criminal Syndicate's Shadow Organization to get outside of range 2.
Yes. And the thing is, I played it and only put it on her. So, yeah, Ghost Rider comes down, throws a crap ton of dice at her, and she tanks it like a boss. She goes, oh, well, since you're here, I'm holding 2 hammers. My base attack is now 6 dice with Pierce. Well, I rolled nothing. So let's do it again. And you're dead. Ended up throwing like 3 crits on the second attack.
Damn.
Ended up getting hits. So he just looks at me and goes, that's terrible. I spend like this amount of power, and Ghost Rider teleports back to Rocket. Rocket just dies, and Ghost Rider's back. I'm like, pardon me, what? He's like, yeah, Ghost Rider's back. Oh, and since he doesn't have an activated token now. Wait. What? Oh, shit. So,
and then don't forget, Rocket explodes and spreads out, incinerates everything.
Yeah, which didn't really matter because Rocket was all by himself because Bullseye decided to go running up and attacking people at close range because it's Rocket, and no matter where I sat, he was going to shoot me. So that game ended because I was like, I have a chance to win this if Voodoo can kill one guy on the point. Voodoo was not able to do that. Voodoo spent all of his good rolls against Lizard last game and was just like, I rolled nothing, and I rolled nothing, so Voodoo's just going to stand there and look pretty. And then Star-Lord, holding 2 hammers, shot him off the table.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, that game, I think I actually played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we went to last round and you were 16-15.
Yeah, it was 16-15. And that's only because I couldn't kill Star-Lord to have him drop the hammer. If I had done that, we would have been tied. And we could have gone one more round, and I could have killed Groot and secured the mill point. So, yeah, it was a really, really good game. Like, we were getting towards the end. I think we had like 9 minutes left on the counter. And we both agreed that was just an amazing, amazing game. So,
well, I'm glad you had a great game.
Overall, I learned I need to do more deployment and read my opponents. Doing a bunch of unpacking stuff. So like read my opponent's placement, what they have, read the board state, and do a bunch of first turns to figure out get that down.
Black Cat's not a center of the board
put
piece.
Black Cat in the center of the board. Don't activate her first if you don't have to. Because I think
Lizard throws.
Well, my brain was in a point where I was like, if I can run up and grab the left one, I can then run back.
That only really works for 2 models. Yeah. There are 2 models of the game that can do that. Angela and Amazing Spider-Man. Because they have long moves, large bases, and flight/wall crawler.
Yeah.
They're about the only models that can reach the middle of the board, have enough space to to interact with an objective, and then go back.
Yeah. I need to
Everyone
remember,
else is going to get punished for it.
I'm so used to throws only being used for terrain. I need to remember, like, Criminal Syndicate has a lot of good throws, and Lizard has a good throw that's both enemies and terrain. So yeah, no, toss your people.
This is a second game system where you've tried to figure out, hey, I can throw things.
Yeah.
Well, in the first game system, it was kind of a trash option most of the time.
Yeah, but it's good in this game.
Did you also learn that you could play with unpainted models, James?
No, you can never play with unpainted models.
I tried.
So one thing,
I got questions.
You got questions. I have answers.
I got questions.
He raised his hand. You gotta let him.
So, based on our conversations last week, how do you feel about your crisis selection and your tactic card selection? Because we didn't really touch on that too much. Because you played your hammers twice, and you only got your secure. Do you remember which secure you played round 3?
Demons. It was Demons Downtown.
Okay. So, did you feel like those hammers and demons worked out of your picks for you? Would you want to play hammers more with Criminal Syndicate?
I never liked the Demons Downtown one because it's just a bunch of incinerate. But if Dr. Voodoo doesn't care about incinerate, he's immune. Lizard and Kingpin, both are just kind of like, oh, I'm incinerated. I'm going to throw 1 less dice, but that's okay. I can go ahead and do damage reduction. It seems like the game is more geared towards throwing more attack dice than throwing more defensive dice. You want to do more attacks. So it's kind of almost putting your opponent in a bad position. Do you want to be incinerated and sit on a point? Because I'm going to sit on a point, but I'm only going to sit on a point with 1 person. And it doesn't... Sure, that person's incinerated, but it's usually Kingpin. Go for it.
So in the Criminal Syndicate matchup, then, kind of your viewpoint is your opponent has to incinerate more of their own characters than you do
to
match you or score points.
Yes.
So demon, I can see demons working for you. Demons is also a 20 threat scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you lots of points to work with. Now, at that higher point level, did you actually play at 20, or did you play at what is hammers?
We played at 20.
Okay. How do you feel? Do you feel like you had enough options at 20 points to have a significant list showing, or because I know we were kind of lots of 4s and some 3s.
So
I don't believe you had a 5 or a 6 threat model.
I did not. I think I did a pretty good job with that. I may have. I was kind of debating not taking Voodoo in that game and putting in like either a Mega Red or Green Goblin. And I was really, really leaning towards Green Goblin. And I was just like, it's also hammers, so let's go ahead and throw Voodoo in there. He can sit on the back point and not get incinerated.
Well,
I
also,
think
I
that
think
was
Voodoo is strong in hammers in particular because if your opponent is piling hammers to get a damage buff, a really substantial damage buff, Voodoo is a very good counter to that.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't want to do that. Guardians of the Galaxies don't want to stack all their hammers, so he's just spreading them around. I should have brought a Mega Red to do a bunch of pulls and poisons. So yeah, that's the entire thing. There was one big thing, and I know we pinned it, so let's go back to it. There's a ruling.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about your tactic cards real quick. Do you feel all of your tactic card choices were consistently useful? Were there cards that you would want to swap out after playing some games?
I never really did Blind Session. Like Mark for Death was a great suggestion. I was gonna play Monkey Brain, but for some reason,
Monkey Brain?
I put the cards down, and I was going to put Cruelty to the side, and ended up putting Monkey Brain to the side and putting Cruelty down, which was a bad idea. And it was not a conscious decision. It was I want Monkey Brain because it's Lizard on a middle point, just hitting everyone. I literally got Lizard in position to do it, looked down, and was like, I picked up Cruelty. I'm dumb. Cruelty actually did come into a pretty good play, where it's like, I need to get like a couple more points of damage on this person. And while it didn't do it, he was surprised that I was able to get a third attack off. So I think that's kind of the big thing. All according to plan, I just never had enough power.
Yeah, you need to kind of specifically bank power for a round in order to try to pull it off.
Yeah, so I think I'd probably drop that and put something else in.
Okay, so on to the pin topic. So the card we're going to talk about is the team tactic card Indomitable.
Yep.
There was a recent discussion both in our local meta and then a ruling that someone found midway through the tournament. Indomitable, and this is going to get important, so I'm going to pull up the text real quick.
You cannot be pushed or thrown.
No, that's actually very much not the text. The text is, when an allied character would be thrown or pushed by an enemy effect, it may spend 2 power to play this card. The allied character is not thrown or pushed. Because if it was you could not be, then the effect would potentially persist, or it would be a static, you cannot be pushed or thrown, as opposed to you are not pushed and thrown on a single trigger, which is where the discussion comes in. For example, let's look at
Omega Red.
When Omega Red or Ghost Spider or any number of characters with an effect like this. Ensnare, 2 cost, push an enemy character within range 4 and in this character's line of sight toward this character medium. A character can be pushed by the superpower only once per turn. So, the question that came up, since abilities like Ensnare typically read a character can be pushed by the superpower only once per turn, not the superpower can only be used once per turn. So when a character would be pushed by Ensnare and they play Indomitable, they are not pushed. However, that led to the question of, well, they weren't pushed. I spend 2 more power and Ensnare again, and now you don't have a tactic card to stop me.
And we were debating it. Now, the original ruling of the tournament from the TO was, nope, you used the power. You could have pushed them. Technically, the push happened. It's just you didn't have the push happen. And we were kind of using magic as a kind of the trigger order in Magic. Halfway through the game,
Magic the Gathering, not
Magic the Gathering. Sorry, Magic the Gathering. So through halfway through the tournament, the question was actually answered by the devs on the message board, which was, nope, card is played as red. You were not pushed, and therefore you can do it again.
I feel like that's a drastically bad decision.
I mean,
I don't know. Tactic cards are really limited resources. They should trump most things. That's why they're powerful.
If you're gonna force somebody to pay now 4 power to do it, I'm okay with that.
No, because don't forget, you spent 2 power. And a tactic card. So you spent 2 power to make them pay 2 again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's an even trade.
And if they don't have the power, I mean, it came very important for a throw, and that actually got thrown in my face. Lizard was going to pick up and throw somebody, and he was like indomitable. So it's like, well, that's done.
Yeah. So in most cases, it's fine. I really genuinely feel strongly that that should not be the way it works, but that is rules as written. I would have argued intent was that you wouldn't, that would count, and you couldn't just double tap the ability, because that just feels really silly and sort of nebbish.
I don't know.
But
if they changed it to like you cannot be thrown blah 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 to the end of the round, that may have been.
They don't even need to do that. That's actually stronger than what Indomitable is supposed to be. Like, they'd really just needed to say that counted, that for all intents and purposes you were pushed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they had to do. Like, this is a real fine splitting of hairs, but it's one that makes for a potentially feel bad. Like, no one would have, like, in your situation where you threw and they played Indomitable, I don't think anyone's getting a feel bad from that, because they had a tactic card similar to Brace for Impact. Like, I don't think there's any real engagement feel bad there for player experience. However, them just saying, okay, I do it again, also is kind of a feel bad for the player who played the tactic card.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to think about when you like work around. Like, if you look at them and go, okay, cool, they don't have any more power after this push, then use Indomitable. If you look at them and go, well, they do have a lot more power. If I can drain them of power, they're not going to be able to do this. Use Indomitable for the 2 power, make them do it again, or choose something else. It's a lot of like thought process to it now, as opposed to just, oh no, you just don't have your power work. Thank you
I
for
don't know.
2 power.
I'm not taking a tactic card to drain my opponent of 2 or 3 power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather kind of be more like Brace for Impact, because all the throws are you can do this once per turn on the character, so it has that same feel. Now, granted, like I said, it's different because you can double tap it, but I think the intent was it to be like a Brace for Impact for being thrown or pushed.
Yeah, I'm not a dev though, so.
That's what the ruling is. Add that to a number of things. Like, the devs are responsive. I'll still give them credit for actually giving an answer to that question.
They answered on a Saturday when it was posted like Thursday or Friday. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the tournament.
That is our sort of conclusion on our tournament and our local meta. James, I'm actually kind of curious, since we are talking local meta, who did you see a lot of on the tables?
Oh god, Juggernaut was everywhere.
Who?
Let's see. Juggernaut was everywhere. There was it was pretty good spread.
I was like Black Cat was everywhere too.
Black Cat was everywhere. Juggernaut was everywhere. But no, we had a pretty good spread. I was actually surprised to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I know he plays that list all the time because he just loves Guardians of the Galaxy. But we had Web Warriors. There was another Criminal Syndicate. There was Spider Foes. He was playing both.
Nice.
Let's see. X-Men. There was
Blackwater.
Actually, I don't think there was Blackwater.
I don't think I saw any Blackwater players in the
tables. But a lot of different factions were being played. So
nice,
great.
We also had 3 newish people come out and play, which was great. It was great seeing them come out and play, and it was a tournament, but it was a lot of like have fun play, a bunch of games. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot of stuff, which was kind of what I was wanting to do.
Nice. Well, you accomplished the two important things of going to a tournament: having fun and learning something.
And then went to Cajun afterwards.
Damn right, and it was delicious.
So good.
So, on that note, any closing thoughts from the team?
Practice, James. Practice.
Play more games.
Play more games. Yeah,
that's practice.
That's it.
Use your monkey and lizard brain.
Steal your neighbor's monkey brain.
Bring a hammer next time, and then just remember, your opponent can't play if you smash their models.
I really think I want to get rid of hammers and put something else in there. I know it's really good for this faction, but I'm kind of getting tired of hammers.
You can't get at the chilled monkey brains without a hammer. You got to have a hammer.
No, you could use a shovel.
And with that, we're out.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We'll be back possibly next week. I don't know. We'll see.
With a possum?
We got stuff going on next Sunday, so we might have to. Yeah, we might have to record something else. Anyway.
Possums?
Yes, we're gonna record some possums.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.